Let me say something that might piss you off at first, but it will wake you up for life. The reason you're stuck is because you're gripping too tightly to what's not meant for you. You're clenching a dead dream, holding on to people who drained you dry, replaying conversations that never deserved a second thought, and you wonder why nothing is moving. Let me make it brutally clear. You are not being blocked. You are blocking yourself. The job that ghosted you. The person who couldn't love you right. The life you thought you needed. You don't need closure. You need to let go. Because the universe has one rule. It will never deliver what's next if you're still addicted to what's behind. Letting go is not giving up. It's a radical act of self-respect. It's the moment you decide that your peace is more important than your pride, that your energy is more valuable than your attachment to outcomes, and that your worth is no longer up for negotiation. Most people don't realize this, but the very thing they're gripping onto is the reason they feel exhausted, anxious, and stuck. You think your breakthrough is hiding behind more effort, more patience, more time. But the truth is, it's hiding behind your refusal to release what's already proven it's not for you. Letting go is not weakness, it is war. It is the fight to free yourself from your own patterns, from your need to control, from your fear of what happens next. And the wild part, the moment you let go, everything you were chasing starts moving toward you. Not because you stopped caring, but because you stopped blocking the flow. You've been clenching so tightly onto a vision that no longer fits the person you're becoming. You've been forcing conversations, fighting to be seen, begging to be chosen. And in the process, you forgot that you don't need to convince what's already aligned. You don't need to plead for what's meant for you. Letting go doesn't mean you didn't want it. It means you wanted yourself more. It means you woke up and chose your future over your fear. It means you finally understood that healing doesn't always come from fixing. It comes from releasing. You've spent enough time chasing things that were never yours to hold. You've spent enough nights crying over people who would never cry for you. You've exhausted your mind, your spirit, your heart, trying to mold yourself into something more palatable for people who couldn't digest your power in the first place. Letting go is not an exit. It's an upgrade. It's a decision to stop shrinking to fit inside spaces that dishonor you. It's walking away from the table when love, respect, and truth are no longer being served. You don't grow by gripping tighter. You grow by surrendering fully. You grow by trusting that what's falling away is making space for something so real, so aligned, so undeniably meant for you that it would blow your current standards to dust. But here's the catch. Letting go feels like death before it feels like rebirth. It feels like failure before it feels like freedom. You will question it. You will doubt it. You will want to run back to the familiar chaos, because at least it's predictable. But if you can hold the line, if you can sit in that space between endings and beginnings without rushing, without filling the void with noise, you will discover a version of yourself that terrifies everything that once tried to break you. You will realize that your silence is louder than begging. Your absence is more powerful than your presence in places that no longer value it. Letting go teaches you what no amount of effort can, that peace is your responsibility, not a reward handed to you by others. And once you truly understand that, you stop settling for anything that costs it. You stop fighting for friendships that leave you empty. You stop pouring into relationships that leave you bleeding. You stop explaining your worth like it's up for debate, because it's not. Your value doesn't decrease just because someone else couldn't see it. Your future doesn't get delayed just because something didn't work out the way you planned. If a door closes, let it slam. If a person walks away, let them run. If a plan falls apart, let it burn. The ashes are not your end, they're your beginning. But you can't walk into that beginning if you're still carrying the rubble. You can't receive new blessings if your hands are full of baggage you should have dropped years ago. Every time you say yes to what drains you, you say no to what's trying to empower you. Every time you stay where you're disrespected, you delay the life that respects you fully. Every time you tolerate less than you deserve, you tell the universe that you're not ready for more. But you are. You are ready. You are strong enough to let go. You are brave enough to walk away. You are wise enough to stop arguing with reality. You are worthy enough to stop settling. And the moment you truly decide that you're done holding on to anything that's holding you back, everything changes. The energy shifts. The right people appear. The path clears. The anxiety lifts. The confidence returns. And you realize it was never about forcing anything to work. It was about trusting that what's meant for you will never feel like survival. It will never cost you your dignity. It will never require you to abandon yourself. Letting go is how you tell the world, I know who I am now. I know what I deserve now. I will no longer bleed for things that refuse to heal me. I will no longer beg for things I was born to attract. I will no longer shrink for people who fear my expansion. I will no longer hold on to pain simply because it's familiar. I choose my freedom. I choose my future. I choose my peace. And no matter what I lose in the process, I will never lose myself again. You don't attract what you chase. You attract what you allow. This is not a quote for your Instagram story. This is a spiritual law, a mental revolution, a truth most people never realize because they're too busy sprinting after things that were never meant to be caught. When you chase something, you are telling the universe, I don't believe I'm enough to receive this without begging for it. You are broadcasting lack, signaling desperation, sending a message that says, I am incomplete without this person title, this validation, and that energy, that it repels, it pushes things away. It turns miracles into mirages. The more you chase, the more it runs. The more you force, the more it resists. Because the act of chasing confirms that it's not yours. You chase what is running from you, but you attract what walks toward not your pisher. You attract what aligns with your energy, not your effort. When you're calm, grounded, and secure in who you are, you don't need to convince anything or anyone. You don't argue for your place. You don't beg for a seat at tables that insult your soul. You don't stretch yourself thin trying to be chosen because you already know you were never created to be overlooked. Chasing is a trauma response. It's what happens when you believe you have to earn love, prove your worth, or outperform your pain. It's rooted in fear. Fear of being alone, fear of missing out, fear of not being enough. But here's the truth most people won't tell you. The moment you stop chasing, everything shifts. The energy around you changes. The frequency you emit becomes one of power, not panic. And that energy, it attracts not the needy, not the fake, not the chaotic, but the calm, the aligned, the authentic. When you allow instead of chase, you become magnetic. People feel it. Opportunities feel it. Life starts to feel less like a struggle and more like a current. You stop chasing love and start allowing love to find you. Real love, not the kind that makes you question your worth every 5 minutes. You stop chasing validation and start allowing self-respect to radiate from your presence. You stop running toward goals that drain you and start allowing purpose to guide you to what energizes you. This is not about laziness. This is not about sitting back and doing nothing. This is about alignment, working from a place of clarity, not desperation. Because when you chase, your actions are fueled by lack. But when you allow, your actions are fueled by trust. Chasing creates chaos. Allowing creates flow. You don't need to chase love if you are love. You don't need to chase peace if you carry peace. You don't need to chase success if you embody success in how you show up, even before the results appear. You have to understand the power of your own energy. You could be doing everything right on the outside, posting the right things, saying the right words, showing up at the right time. But if your internal frequency is desperation, the universe will answer that, not your checklist. Energy never lies. You want better things in your life. Raise your standard for what you allow. What you tolerate becomes your reality. What you accept becomes your pattern. You keep asking for respect, but allow people to disrespect you because you don't want to be alone. You keep praying for abundance, but keep allowing scarcity to dominate your thoughts and conversations. You keep saying you want peace, but allow drama, gossip, and toxic people to rent space in your life. Stop asking for what you're not willing to walk in alignment with. Start becoming the version of you that lives at the frequency of what you're asking for. If you want loyalty, allow only those who are consistent. If you want clarity, stop entertaining confusion. If you want peace, let go of people who thrive on chaos. You don't need to run after anything when you trust your worth. You don't need to convince anyone when you carry certainty. And certainty doesn't come from knowing what's next. It comes from knowing who you are, even when you have nothing to prove. People who chase are terrified of losing. People who allow are secure enough to know that what's meant for them can't be lost. It's not arrogance. It's alignment. It's the quiet confidence that says, I don't chase. I attract. I choose. I receive. And that mindset changes your entire reality. Because the universe doesn't respond to begging. It responds to belief. It responds to the version of you who's already living like the thing you want is inevitable. It responds to the person who doesn't just want more, but allows more by becoming the version of themselves that no longer tolerates less. And the moment you shift from chasing to allowing, you become dangerous. Because nothing owns you. No one controls you. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop obsessing and start observing. You stop forcing timelines and start trusting divine timing. And it's not that life becomes easier. It's that you become wiser, stronger, more aligned, more selective. You realize not everything deserves access. Not everyone deserves explanation. Not every opportunity deserves your energy. And the more you allow what's right, the less you even notice what's wrong. The old version of you would have begged. The new version of you watches in silence and lets it fall away. The old version of you would have chased. The new version of you lets it come to you or not at all. And that shift. That's the difference between surviving and thriving. Between hoping and knowing. Between lack and power. You don't need to run after anything that's meant for you. What's real doesn't need to be forced. What's aligned doesn't need to be chased. And when you finally stop chasing what's running, you start allowing what's ready. That's when life gets loud with miracles. That's when everything clicks. Not because you worked harder, but because you finally allowed yourself to become the person who receives